That's Retro Fandango. That's Retro Fandango. When it's Android over iPhone, and you can keep your stupid amiibo and always bashing on Nintendo. But that's Retro Fandango. That's Retro Fandango. Thanks, Retro Fandango. Oh, wow!
Hello. Welcome to Retro Fandango, episode number 212.
Are we still keeping track?
Yes.
Right.
I'm here.
It says 213 on the.
Oh, 213. That's right. I just did episode 212. I did the audio portion of it and put it out on Anchor. So I have 212 on the brain. I'm not liking my lighting here. Let me adjust on the fly. There we go.
Are you changing the lighting of your monitor?
Yeah, I turned down the monitor because I find it's too bright.
Oh, okay.
That's my secret that I tell anyone who asks, anyone who bothers to ask. Why they always say, how come your lighting always looks so good? Put that night mode on. All right, so it's not like that bright, shiny light
like mine.
Because I have like I'm a bit Italian, so I got like that greasy face, so I don't like that.
We got to wash once in a while.
Yeah.
You know who's not Italian? Andy Garcia.
That is true, but even though he played one in The Untouchables.
Exactly. I was just watching that last night, and I was like, wait a minute. How come he's not getting canceled? He played somebody of a different race.
That was in the 80s, so all is forgiven.
That's true.
I mean, and I think it's okay for someone to play, like a minority to play a white guy. I think that's okay. It's only when it's the other way around.
Or if it's just an actor playing a role.
No, that's not always okay. I mean, we're watching King of the Hill right now. There's a lot of things King of the Hill would be in trouble for because of all the actors who do play other races and whatnot. Like there's one guy on there that plays I think not the entire family, but maybe two characters or one character that play his Asian neighbors on King of the Hill. Like they're white people who do the voices. So
Sauce makes a good point. De Niro was Jewish in Casino.
Yeah. Look, I get it. I'm all for it personally. I understand, like, because I always thought it was stupid when you had a guy that's supposed to be Middle Eastern in Prince of Persia and it's a white guy and you're like, what? This doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it should be someone from the Middle East. So on that level, I totally get it.
Just like all the Jesus pictures.
Yeah,
of that white dude.
Yeah, that's not right either.
You know what I was surprised to find out is I forget the actress's name, but the actress who played Vasquez in Aliens, she was in Brownface.
Yeah, I heard about that not too long ago as well.
Actor playing a character is fine by me. I don't know.
I mean,
as long as you're not there's a big difference between the old school, blackface of doing an impression of an entire race and just making jokes.
Yeah.
And somebody playing a role.
Bryan Cranston got some guff for playing a guy in a wheelchair for a movie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
right now, Brendan Fraser is all in the news because of the new movie he's doing.
Yeah.
And there were even people saying, well, how come he had to put on a fat suit?
That's not a new thing, though.
A fatter actor.
That's not a new thing, though. People have been complaining about that for... I remember Shallow Hal with Gwyneth Paltrow.
I've never seen that. Is that any good?
I like it, but that movie got a ton of hate for doing the same thing, basically.
Was it like Gwyneth Paltrow in a fat suit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But in his eyes, she was skinny, right? Because
right.
Someone put a hex on her or something on him or something like that. But I do get it though, because there are so few roles for minorities, and the only reason why the roles weren't going to minorities is because the big movie studios were convinced that they couldn't have a black or a Hispanic or an Asian lead in a lot of these films. They felt like as if you needed a white guy, and not a lot of people would go see the movie otherwise, which is totally, to me, that's totally absurd. I never personally, I don't give a thought of what race the person is, whoever the lead is. There are, black films, there are Asian films, there are Hispanic films that do cater, to those. But on the big, big scale movies, AAA movies, if there's such a thing as AAA movies, it to me, I don't know, it just makes sense if you're going to do an historical picture about a place in the world that where white people weren't prevalent, then you should have the appropriate people there to do it. So I get it, but to retroactively go back and cancel stuff that was done 20 years ago, I mean, that's just the way
you can done. Generally tell when something is done and in a offensive way, and it's made to ridicule or to just poke fun at, and you can look at that and say, okay, that's the old style that don't fly anymore. And then there's people just casting actors in a role.
Okay, well, what about, like, for instance, like Hank Azaria in on The Simpsons doing Apu?
I see it both ways. There's the part of me that any type of sketch comedy, and I consider the voices of The Simpsons to be kind of sketch comedy, because they basically just create whatever they need for the joke, and then they have their cast of characters to supply voices for all of the roles. And they'd bring in guest actors, whatever, to do specific voices. But for the most part, it's just, you have this cast of characters and we want to tell this joke. Do we have to go out and hire somebody specifically just to come in and read a couple of lines? So I can see where you have character actors who just go over and do whatever they need to do. But at the same time, if the character like Apu, who started out as basically just a joke character, just kind of the joke character, like a one joke character. He's the guy at the convenience store. He's got an accent, and that's all it was. But they did try to develop that character over the years.
Yeah, but there was always a level of part of the joke with that character was that he was an Indian guy working in. He was a cliched Indian guy that was working in the convenience store.
Yeah. I don't know. And that's it. Yeah, you just kind of, there's only so long that the cliche can actually be funny, and then it hits that point of, all right, now it's just offensive. You're not showing anything else. And if you do have a situation like that, and I get it for The Simpsons, because I believe he was the only Indian character in the show.
Well, other than his family.
Eventually, eventually they would involve other members of his family. And if there are no other characters being developed or shown in any different capacity, then you can make a case for it. Which is why I don't feel that the Temple of Doom is misogynistic just because what's her name?
Kate Capshaw.
Her character was a jerk and annoying and everything, because we had Karen Allen's character in the first film. You can see, like, this is not the only way they're writing female characters. It's just that is who this character is. And you can have a character who is an idiot or who caters to a certain stereotype of the hysterical woman of the 1930s. If that is the only representation throughout all of the films, then you can make a case for it. But she can just be an individual character who's just annoying.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think the way that they are handling it, though, like, is okay. Like it's okay to retire some of those characters because
Yeah. I mean, like you said, they're product of its time.
yeah.
Things go forward, and people wake up and realize, you know what? The white male voice of American cinema is not the only voice. You can cater to the entire country and say, look, we've got all these different people here. Let's let everybody play.
I mean, like a show like The Simpsons has been on for over 30 years.
Hmm.
Times are going to change in 30 years. You know,
Yeah.
people are going to evolve. People are going to change. The status quo isn't going to be like, can you imagine if The Simpsons started in the 1950s and was still airing in the 1980s? You know, like that's
They'd have quite a few retired characters by now.
So, anyways, I don't believe in retroactively, going back in time and canceling things and that. But going forward, I think it's appropriate to, like Burt Lancaster. Like there's like so many movies, like old movies that I watch. It doesn't offend me. Like there's old westerns where Burt Lancaster's playing a Mexican, and he's a white guy. They put brown on his face. The Western's good, but the reason why, a Mexican or any sort of Hispanic didn't get that role and it was given to Burt Lancaster because Burt Lancaster had the name and he carried the picture, and they felt like they're not going to put money into a film that they just felt like white people were not going to go and see,
Yeah,
and it's just the way it was done. I'm not saying it's right, anyways.
Well, we're attracting people with this talk, huh?
I don't think. Well,
Dean's
I think
here, Curtis is here.
I think they're seeing that we're live, and then as soon as they find out what we're talking about, that's when they. All right, let's go do something else. Yeah.
Same thing with what's his face, Charles Bronson. I just watched Once Upon a Time in the West, and I didn't realize till the end of the film that his character was supposed to be Mexican.
Yeah. All right. There you go.
Hey, look at you.
I have a bunch of DVDs here that I bought for 50 cents.
50 cents.
50 cents
Oh,
each.
Boy.
I might as well go through it now. What the heck?
Yeah, let me see.
Okay, so I was talking to my buddy Frank just a little bit before Christmas, and we're talking about movies that we want to see but are not on any sort of streaming service or anything. And
Which is why you still got to buy physical media, people.
And one of the movies that came up, we were talking about, was Steve Martin's Novocaine, which we both hadn't seen for decades. Remember it when it first came out. But if you want to watch it now, it's not available on. Actually, I found out later it is available on Tubi, but I have to talk to Frank about Tubi. I don't think he has it. And anyways, he's not aware of Tubi. But anyways, we were traveling to my sister's. Which is about 3-hour drive or 4-hour drive to her place, and we stopped at a place, a little town, to get something to eat. And when we went to when we were walking to the restaurant, in the same strip mall was this little hawk shop, basically swap shop, whatever you want to call it. So after we ate, we walked out like, are we gonna go in there? I don't know. Well, let's go check it out. Because we're trying to get it to my sister's place, and we're going to be right on time if we left. But anytime we spent in there, it was going to be late. We were going to
Your
be later
sister's still going to be there, but those movies will move.
So we go inside, and of course, there's a big sign: DVD blowout. 20 DVDs for $10.
Nice.
No substitutions. No like, oh, can I get like 5 for $2.50? No.
No bartering.
If you want the DVDs for 50 cents, you got to find 20 of them and take them. They wanted them out of there.
I just love it when I come across one of those things where everything is just one price, because every time I go to a shop around here, everything is individually, well, this is this much, and this one's this much, and this one's this much. And like,
no,
forget it. Just make them all the same price.
They did not care what the title was, how much it's worth on eBay or anything. It was all just 50 cents. Take it, but you got to take 20 of them. So I'm like, are we really going to do this? Because there was shelves upon shelves of DVDs to look through. I'm like, are we really going to do this?
Okay, did you stop at 20?
There was another couple that was there that was well past 40.
Okay, because you
But
say shelves and shelves. I was imagining like a little bin at first.
No, it was shelves and shelves of DVDs, and we did stop at 20. But I wasn't sure if we're going to do it. But of course, like I'm looking at the top, and the first movie I find is Novocaine. It's sitting right there, and I'm like, and look at it was this is interior designs by Brenda Swan. I'm guessing this was Brenda Swan's from Barrie, Ontario, at some point. But yeah,
that's a good way to advertise your business, is to put your sticker on stuff that you sell at the secondhand shop.
I'm pretty sure she got these for free because they give out like these stickers sometimes. As like, hey, you can buy they'll give you like 20 of them. They'll say, hey, you can buy 100 of these, kind of thing. So she just stuck them on her DVDs for some reason. Anyways,
so what year is Novocaine? I don't know this movie.
It came out in the year 2000. And it's really just okay. It's okay. Mm-hmm. We rewatched it. I couldn't remember too much about it from the first time I watched it, and it's kind of like a half dark comedy, half film noir, and it does neither very well. Like the plot is kind of like, okay, there's not many surprises, and there's not many funny parts in it. But it's okay. But Frank wanted it, so it's coming his way. So we're down to 19.
What do you think of The Man with Two Brains?
I watched that for the first time. Like that's one of those movies that eluded me for decades. And then I finally watched it. And when I finally watched it, I thought, it's no Jerk. I like The Jerk a lot better.
Yeah, maybe The Jerk is better, but it was the same thing. I remember seeing trailers or commercials for that. It would always be like a Sunday afternoon movie, but for some reason I never saw it. And then, like 6 months ago, I found a DVD and I watched it. I thought it was hilarious. Maybe not as good as The Jerk, but I definitely enjoyed it. I've been wanting to rewatch that.
Curtis here has asked the question. He's like, what do you guys think about HBO Max yanking a bunch of content? I personally don't have HBO Max because I'm Canadian, but that shit happens all the time.
I don't know anything about this because I don't have it either. But like, what kind of content are they ripping? Like, it's not original content, or like?
I think some of it is their content that they took down.
Or they do like the Netflix thing. They just have movies and shows and.
Yeah, and then all I saw was Bugs Bunny. There's a bunch of Bugs Bunny cartoons that they took down.
Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Yeah,
you're taking them down. You can't take down Bugs Bunny.
I guess they didn't.
They took off Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I guess they didn't renew the contract that ended. Yeah, Westworld. That was one of their shows. So, I mean,
that's why I applaud you for buying the 20 DVDs for $10 because you never know how long this stuff is going to stay up.
No. And we've been getting rid of movies too. Like I got a stack here of like we watched all this crap and like we got rid of all. Yeah, there was like Larry Crown. This thing was terrible.
Don't know what that is.
Stevie. This was the guy who did the Basketball Diaries. It's really
don't know what that is.
It's a documentary. Sarah watched some movie called Angel Eyes.
Don't know what that is.
Which, if you look at this cover, you would think this is a thriller, right? Doesn't this look like a thriller?
I suppose, yeah.
But it's a romantic comedy.
Oh.
At First Sight, Sarah watched that. Val Kilmer plays a blind guy, falls in love. Oh, and then Sarah let me get rid of Footloose. It's like, yeah, get rid of that Footloose.
I know what that is, but I've never seen it.
So, we're watching them and getting rid of them. But, that just happened to me last year. So while I was watching Doctor Who, I went back and I watched all Doctor Who. I've seen every episode of Doctor Who now. But while that was happening, Amazon Prime added every season of the hell's that British driving show? I can't remember. Top Gear. They added every season of Top Gear, and I had never watched the show before. And I started watching season 1, and I was really getting into it. So I'm like, okay, when I finish Doctor Who, I'll get to that. I'm going to get to that Top Gear next. So I watched I was watching Doctor Who, and then I'd slip into Top Gear once in a while. So I got up to like season 3 of Top Gear, and then I'm like, okay, I got to commit. So I committed to finishing Doctor Who. I finished that sucker off. I got it done, and then I went back to the Top Gear, and they pulled them all down. They were all gone. Doctor Who's still there, but Top Gear, all gone.
I was surprised. I guess, it's not too surprising, but I wasn't expecting it to happen. I guess maybe within the last year or so, Netflix got rid of all of their Marvel shows.
Yeah.
Daredevil and,
Yep.
and Jenny Jones or whatever the other show was.
Jenny Jones.
Jessica Jones. Okay. And then, but yeah, because, the rights reverted back to Marvel, whatever. So
Disney.
Disney.
Yeah.
They got it. So they're doing stuff with it now. So it made sense. But I was like, oh, I never watched that Punisher show. People said that was good. But,
yeah, you probably would have liked that. But I guess it's all moot now. They kind of just. That's why
they're going to pick what they want from it and then continue on with it.
Well, I don't know if I told you this, but I am now of the mindset where I wait for a series to be finished before I start watching it. That's my mantra now. I am not going to watch.
Things that get canceled.
Things get canceled. Shows get crappy, and I can't remember what happened in the previous season. They wait so long before they bring the show back. I'm like, I can't. So this year we went back and we rewatched Breaking Bad right into Better Call Saul. To time it with like the end of Better Call Saul. That was perfect because everything was like fresh in my mind. I knew everything that was going on. That was great. And then we did the same with we went back and we watched the Orville. So when the third season of Orville came on, I was like, everything's fresh. Everything so I don't want to have to rewatch shows. So Orville might be the exception. I might still watch that one as it's going on, but the rest I gotta wait. I gotta wait till stuff is done.
Curtis brings up a good point here. Yeah. In some cases, some of that stuff never got a physical release, the stuff that's taken off the streaming services. So yeah, I am a bit nervous about some of those things, which maybe is part of the reason why I don't get into too much new content, because then I don't have to worry about falling in love with it and then not having access to it.
Yeah.
Or sometimes even when it does get a physical release, it's difficult to obtain.
Yeah.
It gets a very short run.
Toku Joe's flying the pirate flag.
Well, that's always the
it's an option.
The last resort. Yeah.
So just to get back to my 20 movies here, these next few are Sarah's, which you probably won't be interested in, but you'll be interested in what I got. So Sarah picked up 5. She got herself Tiger Eyes. It's a movie by Judy Blume, it's based on a book by Judy Blume. So that's one of her favorite authors. So she got that. Something called Earthly Possessions with Susan Sarandon and Stephen Dorff.
Stephen Dorff?
The Stephen Dorff.
Wow, I just watched a movie with him. It was terrible. Except
for
one scene, which was great.
You can watch it. She got that. Now, this looks cheesy. She got this for some cheesy fun. This is called The Wave.
The Wave.
And it looks like a disaster film or a big wave.
Is that a like a legitimate release, or is that one of those things that's based off of, like, there was another movie about a tidal wave and then this is like the generic version?
Probably.
So I know there's something called like the 7th wave or something like that.
I don't know. She also got something called Class.
Who's in that?
Andrew McCarthy's and Rob Lowe's very first movie.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you don't want to miss that.
I like that MGM logo at the top. I just got a copy of Invasion USA. It has the same logo up there.
Those were nice. They used to do that on all of them. I think that Val Kilmer movie had the same.
That's nice when they match. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Can't do that on streaming. Match your covers. And then something called 5 Corners with Jodie Foster and Tim Robbins.
Yep. Never heard of it.
Nope, me neither. Okay. So this is what I got. We already previewed, I got Once Upon a Time in the West. Now this thing was filthy too. Mm-hmm. But I cleaned up all the discs and everything.
Ooh, you got a 2-disc set.
Yeah.
I just watched that for the first time like a week ago.
I made a note of it.
Fantastic.
I saw it on your it's Henry Fonda, who's I love Henry Fonda, and
He was really good. Yeah.
Yep, Jason Robards. So
I'm
Sergio
gonna
Leone.
wager that's probably where Tarantino gets his style from, because it really felt very much like what he does with the long takes and jumping back and forth from character to character. You don't know how they connect yet. But man, that was good.
Yeah, he is absolutely influenced by spaghetti westerns. Before I move on, let's see. What do we got here? We got a lot of comments here.
Dean's got a big one there. Hang on.
Big gulps, huh? All right. See you later.
Big gulps.
Big gulps. All right. I guess
What
he's
does that
out of
mean?
here. I don't know. Big gulps. Have you guys checked out Kaleidoscope yet? A heist show where Netflix randomized the episodes for each viewer so the mystery unravels a little differently for everyone. I don't even know what that means.
That's interesting. I get how you have to write a show in such a way that you could play it in any order.
Oh.
That sounds a little bit on the verge of interactive television.
Yeah, I don't like interactive television. Just tell me a story.
Yeah. It sounds interesting though. It'd be interesting to see how effective it is.
Yeah.
Does that mean that if I watch it a second time, will it play in a different order, or is it going to remember my order?
I don't know. I imagine it would be a different order every time. Yeah.
It is interesting.
There are some video games
Rocket
that are
Sauce,
like that.
pass. What is all that? Oh, he's talking about the movies you're showing.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're Sarah's movies. I mean, come on. I don't expect you to be into the sauce. Like, relax over there. Jeez. Okay, so this is what I got. Number one, I got me some Jet Li Black Mask. It's probably garbage. I will say that most of everything I got here is probably garbage. But at 50 cents a piece,
yes.
All I need is about 5 of these to be half decent, and I made out like a bandit.
I don't mind buying mediocre movies if they're cheap.
Yeah.
And they're roughly 90 minutes.
I'm pretty sure, except for Once Upon a Time in the West, I'm pretty sure all of these are around 90 minutes. There we go. Black Mask is trash, according to Sauce. That's exactly what I want. I want trash. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes it's okay just to have something on in the background.
Speaking of trash, we got Steven Seagal and DMX in Exit Movies.
That's a good one.
Is it?
Is that the one where DMX runs up a wall?
Yes. Actually, no. No, that was hold on. Where did that go?
Did Steven Seagal do 2 movies with DMX?
No, DMX did a movie with Jet Li called Cradle to the Grave. And this is the movie, another movie I picked up, where he jumps up the wall. And I got about...
It's like a dog chases him or something, and he just starts running up the wall.
Yes, it's terrible. It's awful. And I didn't realize it, like, because, stuff was happening so fast, but I accidentally bought the full screen edition. Which is a major no for me. I hate full screen. So I'm like, does any of the streaming services have this movie? And it was on Tubi. So Tubi saved the day. But Exit Wounds, I have not started watching yet.
Years back, I bought a copy of Spies Like Us, Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd. And I realized when I got it home, it was full screen. So every time I go to the store and if I see it on the shelf, I look and see if I can get the widescreen. It's always the full screen.
Yeah, some movies are really, it's really hard to find the widescreen. Like they sold a bajillion copies of the full screen for some reason, and yeah, Sarah was looking for My Big Fat Greek Wedding for the longest time in widescreen. Every time we saw it, it was always full screen, but she's found it. DMX is dead.
He died like last year. Yeah.
Oh, poor
guy. He was only 50 years old.
Oh no, there was some other guy that died. Some other rapper guy. I can't.
Coolio died recently.
Yeah, that's too bad. And it's funny because Coolio kind of plays, I won't say a major part, but he's in that Weird Al movie that just came out.
Oh, that was one of his biggest songs.
And I'm not sure if they did all that before. I'm probably sure they did all that before he died. Speaking of DMX, I got a prequel to a DMX movie. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. I think DMX was in the sequel to this film, but I got the first one. I got me some Triple X with Vin Diesel.
Oh boy.
And I think there's a Triple X2 with DMX in it. I'm not sure. But
I've never seen any of those Triple X movies, but I do know that the first one had your boy Vin Diesel. The second one had somebody else.
Was it DMX? Was it DMX? No.
I no, it wasn't DMX, but there was somebody else who was the main character, and then they made another one that was like the return of Vin Diesel.
We got Bill. What the are these movies?
You missed the preamble, there, Bill.
I had to get this because it was still sealed for one. I had to open it to kind of clean it up, and it's 2-discer. You got to get it with 2 discs.
It's worth buying garbage DVDs sometimes just for the case. So if you need like a 2-disc case, you can just swap it out.
That did happen with another thing I got. This is probably the only true legit thing I got, and it's actually not a movie. It's a TV show, Ali G Show, the complete first season with Sacha Baron Cohen. This was a TV show he did before he started making movies. I think there's an Ali G movie too, but anyways. This is hilarious. He does like all, fake interviews with celebrities and politicians, and they don't know who. This is like well before he was famous, right? And he would just go and mess with people. It was a good time, but yeah, it was the case was all cracked and everything like that. So I actually had an old Blockbuster case lying around. And I was able to put these 2 in. That's where your security goes right in there.
That's the little thing that was on the bottom of the GameCube cases.
Yeah. I think they had the same distributor or something. I don't know, but this is a legit Blockbuster, official Blockbuster. Come on, you had to like Ali G, Bill. Come on, I know you're a fan. All right, sticking with the Jet Li, I found me some Fearless. This is the unrated version.
Ooh.
So I'm expecting heads to be popping off and lady shirts to be flying off. That's what I expect. Oh, this is a legit movie too. I got Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels. This is probably the only Guy Ritchie film that I can tolerate. Yes, I'm not a fan of that Snatch, but this was pretty good. The one guy in this movie, this guy right here, I think he stole the show. Is that the big guy?
Guy Ritchie.
Yeah,
I tried watching one of his movies. He did like a King Arthur movie, and it was terrible. I couldn't get more than like 20 minutes into it. The editing and the style and the attitude, everything about it was just awful.
Yeah, that editing and style is in this movie as well, but it kind of fits the narrative because it's a heist film. So you got a lot of moving elements, like they're all trying to do something to work together, so it kind of makes sense in this movie. It is overdone even by late 1990s standards, but it's still a very enjoyable film. A lot of funny bits in it. So I got a couple of things there. So I keep hearing about this Tony Jaa guy, and people keep telling me if you like your cheesy kung fu slashy those kind of movies, you got to get some Tony Jaa. So I found a movie called Triple Threat with Tony Jaa.
Don't know it, but it has a cool title and a cool cover.
Yeah, so that's all that matters, right? So we'll see how that one is. Another one of Sarah's movies snuck in here. This one's called Blue River with Jerry O'Connell and a very clean-shaven Sam Elliott. I don't think I've ever seen
Sam
him.
Elliott?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him like so dapper.
Well, it must be one of those Sliders universes.
Susan Day, Nick Stahl, Secrets Run Deep. That's some sort of thriller, I guess. I've heard nothing but bad things about this, but it had Mark Wahlberg in it and Christina Applegate. So I got something called The Big Hit. It's probably
I don't even know
crap.
what that is.
It's probably garbage. It just looks like garbage, but you never know.
Did the other couples get all the good movies?
They must have not had. Their collection must have been zero. Like they must have had nothing because they were just picking up everything. And it was all like mass produced stuff. The stuff that you keep seeing everywhere all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you go and look at used DVDs, there's always a copy of, My Big Fat Greek Wedding and I don't know whatever else sold a bajillion copies.
Whatever sold a bunch of DVDs.
Yeah, they were picking all that stuff up. So
yeah, for years around here, like you couldn't go anywhere without seeing tons of copies of The Matrix, Minority Report, all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, all that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff. They were grabbing all that stuff. So
well, they might be trying to jump ahead because once the big VHS craze dies down, everyone's going
DVDs
to DVD
will be next. Yeah. Well, there already is people who are adamant that DVDs are better because back in the day, they put more effort into the menus and
I
the
saw
presentation.
That AVGN, the Cinemassacre video.
Yeah. Well, that's a movement now. People are like getting in on that thing. I've seen it, and it's like I get it, but
to some degree, it's fun. There were certainly some more creative packages to DVDs.
Yes. So
I do kind of like that the Blu-rays are just simpler and standardized because it makes it a lot easier just to say, okay, I'll grab this one. That's it. But sometimes see a nice DVD. There's one. Did you ever hear the movie The Core? It's like Hilary Swank is in it, and they have to go to the center of the Earth to set off a bomb or something. I think the Earth isn't spinning anymore. But anyway, the DVD case it's like you pull the case apart sideways, like it's cut down the middle.
Oh yeah.
Pull it out. There's like a circle of the Earth, so you pull it open, you get to the core of the DVD. It's fun.
Yeah, they used to do stuff like that because they were charging $30-$40 a DVD back then. Now,
well, they still do here.
Okay, this might be another legit movie. I don't know, but it has Robert Duvall in it. It's called A Night in Old Mexico. I think I remember Duvall he was on the Howard Stern show. This movie came out in 2014, so I was definitely still listening to the Stern show when this movie came out.
It seems like a end of the career kind of movie.
Yeah, he was in his 70s, I think, when this came out. So it might be an interesting watch.
It is interesting how there's such a small percentage of actors, directors who are still making quality items till the end. Because everybody, it seems like they start getting those like lesser roles. There's not a big demand for them anymore. They start doing the straight to DVD or straight to streaming kind of movies.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Sure. Like, I think this. I don't know if this got a theatrical release. It might have, but it was. It's a Western. So, I've been on the Kevin Smith journey, if you will.
Watching how far along did you get with that?
Jay and Silent Bob. Watched one more movie. That was it. But coming up, I need to watch Cop Out. So I had a copy of Cop Out there. So what the heck? 50 cents.
Enjoy.
I mean, I remember it not being too bad.
You've seen it before.
A long time ago. And I remember it being okay. But
the only thing I know about that is I've heard the horror stories of Bruce Willis not caring during the production of that film.
Yeah.
Or caring about the director or anything.
Well, why would he? He's Bruce Willis and he's working on this little Kevin Smith film. So, anyways. And finally, this was like something I've never seen before. But it had John Cleese in it. It's called The Strange Case of the end of civilization as we know it. And we got some Cleese, and we got Connie Booth, who was his wife at the time, and co-star on Faulty Towers. It's funny because the other two movies that are mentioned on the back, you can also buy John Cleese's How to Irritate People and Romance with a Double Bass. And I've seen both of those, but I've never even heard of this one. Strange.
Is he the writer?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it's his movie because the other two films are his. Oh, written by Jack Hobbs, Joseph McGrath, and John Cleese. And directors John McGrath or Joseph McGrath. So now, How to Irritate People is pretty good, but Romance in a Double Bass, that is just him and Connie Booth walking around naked for the entire film. So if you ever want to see Connie Booth naked, that's the movie for you. And there you go. Those are the 20 films that I bought for 50 cents each
Nice.
at a hawk shop in Sturgeon Falls, Ontario.
I wish I had brought a stack of movies to show.
I just thought of it last minute. I'm like, what the heck are we going to talk about? And I'm like, oh, I got all these movies. That'll kill a half hour. And it looks like it did.
Hey, nicely done.
There you go.
Well, that was fun.
Yep. Got anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. I thought I
No.
was going to play more video games, but I didn't. Although I did, I had a gift card laying around for Steam because in the past I would try to purchase games and send them to people.
Mm-hmm.
And then Steam started saying, no, you can't do that anymore. You
Right.
live in a different country. The prices don't match. You can't buy things for other people. So I had this gift card. I didn't want to buy anything for myself. So I was just kind of hanging on to it. And I noticed it had an expiration date. Like, oh, okay. Might as well use it. Winter sale was on. So I bought a couple of things. And the only game that I was really playing was a game that I bought for 52 yen. Guessing was about 50 cents. It was called Mini Car Money Chase. And it's like it's like an indie game where your car just drives. And you have two buttons. You basically A and D for your left and right. And you just turn and swerve and avoid cars and collect money. And that's the game. It's super simple. But I got addicted to it. So I was just playing for, I don't know, a week or so. Play for 5 minutes here and there.
It looks like it's a mobile game that was brought over to the PC.
It does have that mobile look to it. And there are certainly a lot of things you could do to improve the game. But for what it is and for what I paid, I got my money's worth.
Well, that's interesting because I've been playing a driving game as well on the PC. I picked up a game called The Longest Drive, which you probably wouldn't be interested in because the mechanics for it are a little wonky. And the reason why they do it is because it's a bit of a survival game where you're put into this dystopian world, and you start at this gas station, and there's a car there, and you have to like get the car up and running, kind of thing. And you can eat, like you have to eat and drink as well in order to survive. And then there's a road. Once you get the car up and running, you go on the road, and you just pick a direction and start heading in that direction, and just see how far you can get in this world. I haven't played it that much, but from what I have played, it's pretty interesting. I only played it on the easiest mode where it's not really survival, because I was just kind of getting a feel for the mechanics and that and how everything worked. So the first place I arrived to, it seemed like there was some zombie type of guy there, because he was just kind of standing there. He didn't attack me or anything like that because of the mode that I was playing. So I, went through like everything that was there. And I found some oil and gas for the car, and I found some water for the coolant, and then I found my guy some food and a spare tire and all this stuff. And I started loading up the car, and then it started to get dark in the world. It started to get nighttime, and I had all the lights on in this garage. And as I was putting together all this stuff, I could hear like this. Oh man, what's that? What's that noise? And it keeps getting louder and louder and louder. So I turn off all the lights in the garage and I start looking outside to see what's happening. And the UFO, this alien UFO, just comes driving down like it's hovering over the road, looking for something. I don't know what, but it goes on by and then it goes off into the distance. So I don't know if you're on a more like on the actual survival mode, if some aliens come out and attack you or whatever, but that's going to be my next step, is to go into the game on the more harder difficulties. But it seems like it'll be interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. I like those kind of games where it's just like you're just chilling as you're driving from place to place and you're in this world, and it like you just have that eerie atmosphere where not everything is quite right. And everything's you're not always safe kind of thing, and you got to build yourself up towards getting safe. Even Minecraft kind of has that, a little bit of that element in it, where there's all zombies and stuff around, and you have to like build up your home, in order to stay safe from the zombies and that. So yeah, that's pretty much it though, game wise.
Yeah,
I did look through your Twitter feed, and I did want to ask you about a couple movies.
Okay. I just stopped doing that, so this will be the last time you can do it.
Why did you stop doing that?
Because it's annoying to post a photo every single time I want to sit down and watch a movie.
That's why I only did it about twice, and then I'm like, yeah, this is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I just stopped. I still keep track though, so I'm on my phone somewhere.
Well, it's good for me though, because then I can mine that for content.
Maybe I'll take a group photo every week.
Yeah, something. Well, I was going to ask you about Once Upon a Time in the West, but we already talked about that. But I also noticed you watched Tropic Thunder and the 40-year-old version.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to know your opinions of Tropic Thunder and the 40-year-old version.
40-year-old version I saw when it first came out many, many years ago. I guess that's like close to a 20-year-old movie now.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it when it came out. I thought it was really funny. I laughed a lot. And then years later, I discovered who Seth Rogen is. And I started hating Seth Rogen and everything. And then when I saw he was in the 40-year-old virgin, because I didn't know who he was at the time, I was like, I don't want to watch that movie again. I can't tolerate looking at that guy. But then I found a copy and I was like, you know what? I remember this being a really funny movie. Let me get over it and just try it out. And I watched it again, and it was even funnier than I remembered. Seth Rogen's character didn't bother me at all. I wasn't, I got over my hatred of the guy, and I just enjoyed the film.
No, that's good to hear. That's an example of that Judd Apatow's style of humor that works, where it's just two slackers sitting there talking and vamping. That makes sense. But then they try to adapt that into other like action movies and stuff where
you're never going to get over that
Ghostbusters
movie,
that's right. 2016, the year Ghostbusters died.
If you forget about it, it's going to start drifting out of your head.
No,
stop focusing on it.
I'm going to keep it in there.
You've only seen it the one time, right?
Ghostbusters 2016, the female one. You don't need to see it ever.
No, I'm saying you saw it only once, right?
No, that's all you need. Like, you don't even need to watch it once.
Right, so you can't just let it go. You can't let it be forgotten. There's so many other movies that you've seen that you probably can't remember the title of or who was in it or anything.
No, I'm not upset at that. I don't care about that movie at all. I don't care about that movie. I'm just talking about that style of humor and how it
Okay.
works in some movies and it doesn't. And I feel that style of humor does work something for the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Now, the 40-Year-Old Virgin was directed by who, Richard?
Judd Apatow.
You are correct. And the 40-Year-Old Virgin is the only Judd Apatow movie that I can sit and enjoy, because I find that all of his other films are just completely boring. They just bore the piss out of me. They're way too long.
I don't think I've ever seen another one of them.
The pacing is so slow. This one, it very well done. All, great from beginning to end. But, I tried watching that Knocked Up. Everybody was going on about that movie. I don't know if it was because it was the unrated version or whatever that I watched, but it was so boring. He did another movie with Adam Sandler and Seth Rogen where they're stand-up comedians. I was bored with that, and then I was just off the Judd Apatow train. But that 40-Year-Old Virgin is good. All right, what do you think? What did you think of Tropic Thunder?
That was the first time I had seen it. I'd wanted to see it for a long time. I didn't know about it when it came out. It was just something that I'd always see it in the shop. So it was that Tropic Thunder, Ben Stiller, Jack Black. Oh, this looks interesting. And it kind of had, when I heard about it, it kind of had like the Three Amigos vibe of like people who are actors
absolutely
who get into that thing. So I was like, oh, okay, is this kind of like a spiritual successor to that? I thought it was hilarious. I laughed beginning to end. I enjoyed it very much. Even the parts that you're probably going to get criticized for enjoying, I enjoyed. I thought the whole movie was just having fun.
What would you be criticized for enjoying in that movie, Richard?
Like quite a few things, I guess. I mean, that's part of the reason I like it, is because they just went for it. They're just like, you know what?
Well,
we're going for all this, but there was enough. A lot of it was because it was about actors, and it was about Hollywood, and it was about the movie studios and how they go about doing things, and the image of these insecure actors, of what they want to do and in order to prepare for a role, or how they approach it, or the content that they deal with. So I think there was enough intelligence behind it. Again, it didn't fall into the here's a cheap joke. It was some intelligence behind it and how to get to that joke while poking fun at the why they would do it instead of just doing it.
Tropic Thunder, I'm not a fan of the film. I watched it once. I didn't get Jack Black's character in that movie at all. I don't know what he was going for.
He was very limited. He was limited to one joke, really.
Yeah. Maybe I need to watch it again. I don't know. But I do like parts of the film, including Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, Tropic Thunder, it sticks in my craw a little bit when people say Tropic Thunder is so controversial. You could not make that movie today. It just would not go. It would not fly with today's audience. And it's the same people that, he was on drugs. That's about it. Okay. That's Steven's interpretation of the film. Take that for what you will.
Well, that was Jack Black's character. That was the whole thing. He was just
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I just remembered it was very weird. It wasn't like a Jack Black character, and maybe I just went in expecting a Jack Black character, and it just seemed really weird.
Well, yeah, it's not his movie. I mean, he kind of, the only reason he got kind of a top billing is because of his status, not because of his position in the film.
You can almost say the same about Chevy Chase in Three Amigos.
Yeah.
Even though he was one of the Three Amigos. Anyways, where I was going with that, where they say like we can't make that film today. It's the same people that say the same about Blazing Saddles. You can't make Blazing Saddles today. I feel as if both of those statements are completely untrue, because you can make those movies today. The difference between those movies and like people making stupid comments on the internet are, like you were saying, there's some substance to the jokes that they're telling, and there's a point to it, and they're funny. That's all. That's what you need. You need those elements. You can't just go, and say, "Oh, I'm start doing an impression of a black guy," and think you can get away with that today. But the whole point of that character is that he was ridiculous, right? He was a ridiculous person, and you were laughing at that character in that film.
Right.
That's the whole point. Is that Hollywood is so messed up that they would actually have this white guy as they were making it was social commentary.
Yeah.
Just like Blazing Saddles, social commentary on what was going on. And you could totally do that today and get away with it. So I wish all those people would shut up.
There is some credibility to that statement. It's not 100% factual, but it is much more difficult to get some of that past certain checkpoints. You put it in there, somebody looks at it and says, whoa, 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 what are you doing right here? You've got to be able to back it up. Like I said, if you got the substance and you got somebody who knows what they're doing, they can say, look, this is what we're trying to achieve. This is the purpose. And if they can get it by the right people. But there are some people who will just immediately get scared and say, we don't want to take the risk.
Yeah, I think they had that same, Mel Brooks had that same problem back then. Look at Life of Brian. Look how much loopholes they had to go through to get that movie. You always had those naysayers and that people wanting you to tone things down and making it, but the person had a vision. He's like, this is funny. This will be good. And sometimes they fall flat on their face. But, those two movies are examples that I think that if you took a 30-year-old Mel Brooks and he wanted to make Blazing Saddles today, I think he absolutely could make it today if he wanted to, because it is funny, because it's
Life of Brian is another movie that I just picked up because I didn't have a copy of it.
That's a great movie. I can't find that on Blu-ray to save my life. I still have my DVD copy of it though.
That's what I just got. I got the Blu-ray.
You got the Blu-ray?
I got the Blu-ray.
I'm jealous. I want the Blu-ray. That's so unfair. You're watching it at 1080p and I only got 480p.
Your movie's no good then. It's not going to be funny.
Damn it. I'm out of here. All right. That's all I got. Oh,
I don't want to hear about Invasion USA starring Chuck Norris.
I forgot about that. Well, no, see, this is the problem with Invasion USA starring Chuck Norris. You got it on DVD and nobody cares. You have to have it on VHS. If you want to watch that movie, it has to be on VHS.
That's true. It's not as cool.
How is that movie? Is it any good or what?
I knew what I was buying.
Yeah.
It was cheap though.
Was it 50 cents?
It wasn't 50 cents, but it was cheap by comparison to what I normally have to pay around here. But I saw that. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I feel like watching this. And it's the hills and valleys. It's there are times where the movie is so slow and boring. You're like, why am I even bothering with this? But then something amazing happens. And then, you just like, you're waiting for the next scene. There's one scene that it's like there's this guy who is organizing this whole invasion of USA. And for some reason, he's in this like drug dealer's office at the beginning, and he brings in like, the goods, and then the guy's inspecting it, and he's got his lady there, and she's like snorting some up her nose. And then I don't even remember why, but he flips out, and then he smashes the woman's head on the table, so the pipe goes up her nose, and she starts bleeding out of her nose.
I want to see this movie.
He takes a gun. He puts it in the pants of the guy and then like shoots him a couple times below the belt. The guy, by the way, was Billy Drago, the actor who played the killer in The Untouchables, Al Capone's guy in the white
I like
suit.
that guy. I like that guy.
He's got that face.
Yeah.
And he shoots him a couple of times below the belt, and then he takes the woman who's still got the pipe over his up her nose, and he throws her out the window.
Oh man,
It's like, and there's so many scenes where like Chuck Norris goes around, and he's shooting people and everything, and it's like it goes, wow, this is great, and then
yeah.
everything stops for 5 minutes, and then it goes, it's like great again.
It's a roller coaster ride. That's what you're saying.
It's a roller coaster that crashes once in a while.
Oh, I do want to see that movie. That's on my list.
You know what, I had seen copies of the Delta Force in the shop, and I didn't pick those up. So next time,
there you go.
They're still there.
How much are you paying for these movies?
That the Chuck Norris one was about $3.
That's perfectly fine. That's way well in the acceptable range.
I wish more movies were at that price.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Steven wants to know if we talked about VHS grading yet.
I did see the Red Letter Media video. Yes.
Oh, there's a video.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, you should. I don't want to spoil it for you then, because it's kind of fun.
Okay.
I think it's maybe the past 2 videos dealt with the subject.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
I'm kind of off the YouTube. Like, I haven't watched YouTube since I moved. I've been far too busy to watch YouTube. I've been doing
I'll say, yeah, you should definitely watch the one. It's all right. I'll spoil slightly. It's called, that movie they got, Nuki. They got like the whole wall of it. There's like a VHS.
Oh yeah,
thing.
yeah. Okay.
It's the video they got. It's called like Nuki, aka the VHS grading video. Watch that one.
Did they send in a bunch of copies of it to get? Okay.
Watch the video. It's
right.
worth watching, and there's some good information and there's some good entertainment.
I can't remember who I was just talking to about this, but I guess it was about the video game grading, which is just as ridiculous, where they send in a video game to be graded and then they don't like the score they get. So they send it back in to get graded again until they get the score that they want. Cause it's so arbitrary. These people who are rating, like, I don't know,
it's the same as pricing at secondhand shops. It depends on who's behind the counter when the tape comes in. Like, $2, $5.
Yeah, but at that level, that they're charging me $500 between $500 and $300 or whatever. It's kind of ridiculous. But
yeah, plus you have to pay to get it graded anyway.
Yes,
it's like you're paying this fee.
And some people, it's worth it, right? Because if you get, like, say you get a 9.5 on whatever item it is, the difference between a 9.5 and a 9.8 might be like $3,000. So of course you pay $100 to get it graded again, because you want to get that number. But the whole thing is just ridiculous to me, because I've been saying this since day one. Who are these people that are doing the grading? Who are these people? Who are they to decide whether or not the thing deserves a 9.5 or 9? They're nobodies. They don't have any sort of expertise.
Make sure you watch that Red Letter Media video.
All right. Because it boggles my mind. Now, I do kind of get the comic book thing. That's where it all started, right? Was the comic book thing. Because there are so many pages in it, and there's a lot more nuance, I think, with a comic book. But
then the rarity of some of those old comic books.
Well, and the quality of it, because you got so many pages and so much more things to go through, and like, is it sun faded or water damaged or whatever? But when we talk about like a game cartridge or a VHS tape, or like, I don't know.
Yeah,
to me that's just ridiculous. But the video game people were busted too, right? In putting like these graded games up on, I don't know if it was eBay, but some auction site, and they were buying it themselves to kind of set the price of these things, Jerry Seinfeld. Who are these people? Hey, sometimes Jerry had it right.
So.
Come on. Who are these people? I mean, come on.
Okay. You got to hit the armor. Who are these people?
These people. I got to work on my Larry David. Forget Jerry. Jerry Seinfeld's passe.
Old news.
I got to work on Larry. It's not there yet. It's not ready for prime time. Oh yeah, how long have we done this?
At what point? Sorry, you got me on a side tangent here.
All
At
right.
what point did the Saturday Night Live cast stop being called the not ready for prime time players?
Oh, I
Was
think
that just the original cast?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was their joke, and once they left, they took that joke with them.
Right.
Kind of like, I'm Chevy Chase and you're not, and those kind of things. Like that becomes their catchphrase or whatever. Although I don't know. I don't know if the new guys, do they even have a catchphrase? I don't know. I haven't watched.
Saturday Night Live has looked so unappealing. The little bits of that I've seen over the past 15 years, whatever, it just seems like who are these people?
I mean, I liked was it 10 years ago? Like when Kristen Wiig was on it and Sudeikis and Will Forte, those guys, that was a good group that was on that show. We would record it and watch it on Sunday morning. We didn't stay up to watch it on Saturday night, but they had a good group. But then it just started getting stupid, and I haven't watched it since. And then the whole thing with Trump and Bernie, like to me, it's ridiculous that you're getting all these celebrities to play these characters or these politicians or whatever. I mean, it's supposed to be the cast. You want to see the cast of SNL. I don't want to see a bunch of celebrities. I get it. Okay, you do it once. Okay, yeah, it's funny to watch Alec Baldwin play Trump or Larry David to play Bernie, or you get actually they had an SNL cast member play Hillary. But anyways, I get it for once, but it was constant, just constant. Like, and I just, to me, you just kind of lose something when it's not the actual.
Well, yeah, they were losing ratings, so they just had to.
Well, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Well, I mean, is Alec Baldwin, ever since that shooting accident, I'm guessing he hasn't been doing Saturday Night Live.
Well, I think he wanted to stop doing Trump before that. I know he was adamant that he did, but and here's the other thing: I'm not a fan of Alec Baldwin. I think he's always been a bit of a pompous ass. All that stuff that comes out about him, there's always to me, there's like some sort of truth to all that stuff. He was great in Glenn Ross because he plays a total prick in that movie, and that's who I think is the real Alec Baldwin. That's why he was so good in that movie.
I don't know anything about Alec Baldwin. I know that he doesn't like Beetlejuice.
How could you not like Beetlejuice? Come on.
I don't know. He said he didn't like that movie.
See, that's another reason not to like Alec Baldwin. I forgot he was in that movie, actually. He was a different
Alec Baldwin then.
He looks different in that movie.
Yeah.
Billy Baldwin, I couldn't tell you a Billy Baldwin movie.
Billy Baldwin. He's the youngest one, right? He's the one that was in the Pauly Shore movie.
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever. Oh, I did see a movie with him. I saw some like straight to video movie where he plays like Electro Man. He's like a scientist and he's really fat and he's married to like a 20-year-old supermodel and he gets electric powers. I saw that movie.
Do you remember the name of it?
I have no idea. Maybe I saw it on Tubi.
You would see it on Tubi. William Baldwin was in Backdraft, which is a bad movie.
The only Baldwin that I can name other than Alec Baldwin is the Baldwin who is not a Baldwin. Adam Baldwin, who was Animal Mother in Apocalypse Now, and he was in the not Firefly, certainly. What was the name of that show? Firefly? Was that the name of the show? The Joss Whedon show?
Yeah, he was in that?
Firefly. Yeah, the Jane. That's Adam Baldwin.
Okay.
Who's been in a bunch of things, but he's not one of the Baldwin brothers.
I'm trying to look up William Baldwin movies now, but IMDb is like, no, you're not allowed to look them up. They said, no, we're not going to show you any of his movies. They changed their site. This thing's completely different. He's known for Backdraft, Silver, Fair Game, and he was in The Squid and the Whale. I like that movie. That was a good one. It's an old Bomb-back movie. All right, what's this Canteen Boy with Baldwin? I don't remember Canteen Boy. Do you remember Canteen Boy?
Even I know that. That's the Adam Sandler getting molested at the campfire.
Oh, it's vaguely familiar.
Mm.
Okay, well, I'll have to watch that. It's probably on YouTube.
I'm sure it's one of their SNL greatest hits clips or something.
It's got to be. So, do you want to hear my adventures in shoveling snow in Chelmsford, Ontario? It's a gripping tale.
Is it all that difficult?
It's a gripping tale. Well, as you may recall,
you didn't get run over by a snowplow, did you?
No, as you may recall in our last episode, remember when I was having some issues with my neighbor and where to put the snow?
Oh yeah, you told him where to put that snow.
I shoveled my driveway and I put the snow on the sides of the driveway, and then he shovels like on his lawn to make a path to the back of his house. And when he shoveled on his lawn, he threw the snow like back onto my driveway, as you may recall.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall this? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, that's good. Well, while we were talking about that, while you and I recorded the previous episode and we're talking about that, the neighbor showed up at the door to complain.
Really?
Yeah, to Sarah. That was the wife. It wasn't the guy. But she was basically, hey, so you guys are settling in? And Sarah's like, yeah. So I want to talk to you about throwing the snow on our lawn. And we don't want you to do that. Because you guys have a gravel driveway and we don't want the gravel coming onto our lawn. Now, even though I feel as if, because I grew up with a gravel driveway, that was what we had when I was a kid, and I know that you got to leave a base. You got to leave a base of snow with the gravel driveway. And you got to you got to go
get close.
Skim, but you got to skim above, right? You got to leave some snow underneath so you don't kick up as many rocks. And plus, I snowblowed that, and there was a couple of rocks that you could hear it ticking around the tin, but none of them came flying out of the thing. So I don't know what they're. So Sarah was like, okay, yeah, I'll make sure to tell my husband not to put the snow on your driveway. And then, when she came and told me that, I'm like, I don't know where they expect me to put the snow, because the driveway is like really wide, and basically I'd have to take and put all the snow, on part of the driveway, and then like snow blow it all up onto my lawn. And my lawn would basically have like kind of two walkways, and there's a fire hydrant there, and all this stuff I can't really block. I only have certain spots to put this snow. So that was the one big snowfall we had when we recorded, and then for like a couple of weeks there was basically no snow, so there was no reason to shovel until maybe a couple days before Christmas, and we had a big snowfall. So now I had to go out there and shovel again, and I waited all day before going out there. Sarah was like, "Oh, we got to go out and shovel the driveway." I'm like, "Nope, we are not going to shovel the driveway until I observe and find out what other people are doing, because I don't know where to put all this snow. It's just there's so much snow, so I want to see what all the other neighbors are doing." So I sat and I watched and I waited for other neighbors to go out and clear the snow from their driveways, and sure enough, every single one of them only throw the snow one way. None of them, like everywhere I've always lived, you shovel the driveway and you throw the snow on the sides of the driveway. But they don't do that in Chelmsford. Everybody stays off of their neighbor's yard and throws it the other way. Because a lot of people do have gravel driveways. And I respect they don't want to put gravel on their neighbor's lawn. And if you look at the house on like Google Maps or whatever, you could see that where my driveway ends, it ends like right at the property line. There's no like little bit of grass that's mine that I could throw snow on. It goes right up to the neighbors. That's why the driveway is so so wide, which is nice in the summer. But now in the winter, I can only throw the snow one way. So much to the fact that the guy across the street, he's got when he blows the snow onto his lawn, the wind blows in his direction. So he actually has like a big canopy on his snowblower, so the snow doesn't hit him in the face while he's blowing all the snow in one direction. So I'm like, I guess that's what I got to do. So I go out there, and we have our cars parked up close to the garage. So I take all the snow around the cars and I just pile it up onto the driveway. And then I take the snow blower and I just blew it all in one direction, all on our lawn. And that's what you got to do in Chelmsford to keep your neighbors happy.
The problems you guys have with driveways. I've never had a driveway. I don't know the etiquette of any of this.
The etiquette's always been you just kind of throw it on the side. Nobody cares. But here in Chelmsford, people care. And the weird thing is, I get that they don't want me to throw, rocks on there. They don't want me to get rocks on their lawn. Okay, I get it, because it's a pain in the ass to have to go out in the spring and rake it all up. But their driveway is the same gravel. It's like this pink crushed gravel that we have, and they're throwing it all on their lawn. So they got to go out there and rake it anyways. But throwing the snow in one direction is making them happy. He actually came out yesterday while I was shoveling. I was using the snow float because I needed a little bit of exercise. So I said, you know what, I'll use the snow float. And
what's a snow float?
Snow float's like a big shovel. That's like you don't pick it up and throw it. You just kind of like scoop it and then glide it onto your lawn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I can picture that.
Yeah. So it's like if you got like a lot of light fluffy snow on your driveway, like it's a lot easier for me anyways.
Just a real big scoop.
It's a big scoop, but you don't like lift it, right? You just kind of push it up and you kind of make a hill. So anyways, I was out there doing that, and the neighbor came out and saw me, and he was like, hey, guess we're really in winter now. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, it's just starting. I'm like, yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, you're making it a lot harder for me than if I could just throw the snow on your lawn, but whatever.
Should have just grabbed a fistful of gravel and thrown it at him.
Well, look at that. Kyle's here. I got to thank
Kyle.
I got to thank Kyle because he bought me a couple games on Steam during the Steam winter sale. And in true Kyle fashion, he'll buy me games, but then he doesn't put his wish list on Steam, so I can like see what he's looking for, so I can return the favor.
I purposely tried to hide my wish list, but it didn't dissuade him. That guy Kyle.
He still bought you something anyways.
He still got me something anyway.
What a guy! What did he get you? Do you recall what he got you?
He got me the second Star Trek point and click game.
Oh,
I didn't have that one.
The Judgment Rights?
Judgment Rights, yeah.
Nice. That's a good one. Well, he got me
give him a talking to.
He got me Cosmic Star Heroine, which is basically
heroin.
It's like
Cosmic Star Heroine.
Heroine. It's like a throwback to like a turn-based RPG, like the old Final Fantasy games, but you're in like a super or a science fiction world, and it's pretty cool. I played that for a little bit, and he also got me Star Control 3, which is I'm a fan of the whole Star Control series. And
Star Control. So
Star Control is like back in the day, it was like a space exploration game where you go to planets and then you'd make deals with the aliens, and how to. Sometimes you'd go to a planet and the aliens would be hostile and you'd have to fight them. Other times you can go and you can make deals for resources, and it basically make your federation, I guess, more powerful. Like the more deals you make, the more powerful it gets, and then you're dealing against bigger and bigger entities as you go through the game. So, and then they came out with like a reboot of the series a few years ago, where it was kind of the same concept, but it was more like 3D based, where you would actually physically, fight in a 3D environment with ships and stuff instead of just like kind of clicking. And so, yeah, fun games. I enjoyed it. And for some reason, I didn't have the third one, and it was on my wish list. And good guy Kyle got that for me. So thanks. There you go. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about? Or are we?
I don't know. I'm starting to get hungry.
Yeah. Sarah's making us. She's making us a new dish that she's never made before. We're having chicken dumplings.
Ooh, how do you make that?
I don't know. I'm not even sure what a dumpling is. I think it's like a meat in wrapped in pasta or something. I don't know.
There are a couple of things around here that might be translated into dumpling, but yeah, kind of what you said. Like it's a ground meat and stuff.
Yeah.
Put inside some kind of a wrapper.
Yeah, like I think like the Asian version is the East Asian version, if you will, is like a rice pasta kind of thing. It's like a thin. It's not like egg and flour pasta, right?
Sometimes, yeah, it's like a rice noodle, rice paper kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not okay. So Sauce is giving me crap now because I don't know what a dumpling is. It's not that I don't know what a dumpling is. It's that there's so many different variations of a dumpling across all ethnic. Like a pierogi, basically is a dumpling.
Yeah, because I don't really know what a dumpling is either. Because I don't think I've ever been to a restaurant where I've ordered something called a dumpling.
Well, I have. I went to like 7 Star. We have like or it's a 7 Star or 7 dumplings or something like that. But there's different, like across all ethnicities, there's different versions of that dish. And when someone says I'm having dumplings, I'm not sure which dumplings they mean. So I'm not sure what kind of dumplings Sarah is making. She just said she's making chicken dumplings.
There's something here that when it's translated, it comes to like pot sticker. And it's essentially like a dumpling. And I was like, oh, what kind of stupid name is that? Pot sticker.
I've heard people call them that. I've heard people call them pot stickers. But like, yeah, he's so Sauce says he's only had it in soup. But like I've had
like a wonton. Is that it's considered like a dumpling.
Exactly. Is it? I don't know. But people call them wontons. They don't call them dumplings. But to me, that is like a type of a dumpling, right? So I
mean, in a sense, kind of an egg roll is almost like a dumpling. Then it's something wrapped up in a thing.
I guess, but that's more of like a deep fried thing, right? I don't think can you deep fry dumplings? I guess you can.
You can deep fry anything. People deep fry Oreos and ice cream and Twinkies.
Bill says I'm a cuddly dumpling. Well,
that is true.
Bill would know. Bill would know.
Dumpling sounds pretty good, though. You know what I've been in the mood for? Nachos.
Oh.
And the other day, I went to one of my supermarkets, and they recently redid an area, and they got a couple of import items there. And they had cans of refried beans, which I love, and they're very hard to get around here. So I got a can of refried beans. I got some taco seasoning. I got to start putting together all the other elements I need to make nachos.
You need cheese.
I got to get some cheese. I got to get some ground meat.
You got the chips.
Got to get some tortilla chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, would you put
the best value for your tortilla chips around here, I'd have to go all the way out to Costco, and that's quite a drive.
Sauce is making demands. He says you need yellow corn nacho chips.
Yellow corn nacho chips.
I say you can go white or yellow. As I'm easy that way. I am
whatever I can get.
Now, do you put any vegetables? Do you do?
Well, I haven't made nachos in a long time, but typically if I do like a taco mix kind of a thing, I personally don't like putting too many vegetables in there. I throw some onion in there.
You got it.
And
fry it.
I like corn as an easy substitute in there. I really am not a big fan of shredded lettuce.
Oh,
So I prefer to cut cabbage like really thin and cook that in the meat. So it's not
really?
like a hard, crunchy cabbage.
Cabbage in your
Yeah, I'll throw
Mexican?
that in as a substitute in there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Beans are a vegetable, yes. I hate olives, so I won't use
No
those.
olives. I like putting some black olives in there. I like
I can't
frying.
stand olives.
First of all, you got to fry the olives till they become transparent. You gotta fry them right down to their core, and then you put the meat in, cook that up. Then you put your
Are you
taco
talking about
seasoning in.
onions or olives?
Onions.
Okay, I thought you said fry the
No, no,
olives.
no, no, no. I put you put the olives in afterwards, after you're done. You put them on top. But I like putting peppers in there, like green peppers or red peppers or jalapeno peppers, and then the green onion, like those green onion tops. Those
Those are good.
on
And
there
then,
too.
you got to throw in some avocado.
Sarah loves avocado. She also loves the avocado guacamole.
Guacamole.
I could take it or leave it. I hate the fact that you always have to pay so much extra for it. So
Right? I couldn't believe it. I was in this is like going back 20, 25 years. It still bugs me. I was in a Mexican restaurant and, the guy's taking my order. He's like, okay, all right. And he's like, hey, you want some sour cream on that? And I was like, yeah, sure. Get the bill later on. He charged me like $2 for a scoop of sour cream to be put on the thing. They
sour
throw it
cream.
at you like they make it sound like, hey, yeah, you want me to add that on there? Like,
Yeah,
please. That sounds
I paid
great.
more for it. Sour cream. That's ridiculous. $2 for sour cream. But I get why they, the avocado is or the guacamole because it goes brown really fast, right? As soon as you expose it to the air, it's going to go brown. So I kind of get it, but on the other hand, it's like, do you really need to charge that much for?
I honestly I love avocados and guacamole, but in recent years they give me heartburn so fast
Oh, really?
that I don't think I can eat them anymore.
Interesting. Sauce wants to know if your cabbage nachos are Irish.
Of course they are.
And
I'd easily take some corned beef and cabbage.
And then Sauce wants to know if dairy is expensive in Japan.
This is back in the U.S.
Oh, well, there you go.
Time ago. It may not have been $2. I might be exaggerating in my old age.
Well, it was effective. All right. Okay, I think that's it. We'll have to wrap it up there because I got to go see what these chicken dumplings are about. But it's a fun episode. Thanks to Kyle and Sauce and Bill. And when's STC coming back, Bill? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Did they just post something?
Oh, did they? Oh, maybe I haven't.
Joe tried to kill Bill. I didn't listen
believe.
to that one yet.
Well, that I believe. Okay. Well, maybe I haven't checked it in a couple of days. We had Steven, we had Toku Joe, we had Dean, and we had what's his face, Curtis. Well, everybody has different names on here, so I kind of have to put the like girlfriend versus. I forgot that was a thing. He's always been Curtis everywhere now, but on here he's girlfriend versus.
You gotta update your Fandangos.
Anyways, okay. SEC Pod had a new episode 2 days ago. Wow. I want another one already. It's been too long. New one every day. Okay, we're not going until Richard laughs at something I say.
Say something else.
Something else.
There
we go. Now we can end the show. All right. Goodbye.
I'm very hungry.